People who have in class, just why? I sat next to a guy who looked at DeviantArt latex BDSM drawings. This was a 400-level history discussion course with less than 10 people in the class. I want to say I was surprised by this, but it lined up with everything I knew and heard about him. If you are reading this, Ben, I wanted to discuss the First World War, not look at your shitty porn. Edit, to clear up some confusion. No, I did not do the 5-finger shuffle in class. It was Ben, now dubbed Wilbert, who had a date with Rosie Palms. He didn't care then, and he doesn't care now. I think we found Ben, talking in the third person. First time I saw a boys was from him in class. Was very traumatic. Ended up finishing the rest of middle school and high school with him in my grade. He tried to be my friend, it was weird. Sort of the same thing for me, except the kid wasn't. He just whipped out his junk and said, "Hey, look." And like 3 kids looked over, including me, and we all got an eyeful of nutsack. I don't know how it started, but I always had this small security blanket with me wherever I went when I was little. Well, for some reason I started dry humping it and it felt good, so then during nap time, in preschool, I started doing that. Got caught and then stopped. This is more common than adults would like to think. Teachers simply try to ensure those children are visually separate from the rest of the class during nap time, and try to quietly remind them that they shouldn't do it at school. Edit, because this has gotten some people noticing it, I would like to explain further. At such a young age, this is not. The nerves are just as sensitive in a child's privates as they are in adults. If a child discovers that rubbing a blanket between their legs creates a certain feeling, and that feeling is good, they will experiment with it the same way they experiment with any other thing they notice about the world. The only time there should ever be any concern is if this type of behavior is accompanied by talk or knowledge. That would be an indication of something much worse, but just is not a sign of alarm. Outside of that, it is detrimental to the child's development to shame, or in any way indicate that such things are bad or inappropriate and shouldn't be happening. You can explain that it is not okay to do publicly, that is something for bedtime only, but it can adversely affect their mental development of healthy knowledge if it is stopped or shamed. Think of the old trope of if you too much, you'll go blind. It isn't true, and can lead to a lot of guilt associated with what typically becomes a fairly normal act as an adult. Not me, but a classmate. We were in the school's auditorium watching some movie. I don't remember what movie it was, but it was some documentary and definitely not at all. This was a big auditorium and there was like 13 of us, so we were all spaced far from each other. I saw from the corner of my eye that a guy in the row below me was moving a lot. He was in that row alone and I was in the top row alone. I guess he forgot that there was someone behind him, because when I turned to look at him, he was fully out, full on wanking it. No idea why he was doing it, but mind you, we were 16 years old at the time, so he really should have known better. His mom needs to read the "How to Stop Your Child from in Public" WikiHow article. My classmates did it once, lies, they did it 3 more times, they were caught by the camera, and the weird thing is they did while the teacher was there, and what's more weird is they didn't get in trouble for doing it. A mild punishment, yes, but they didn't even call their parents. I wouldn't call them either. Based on my prior experience of seeing how parents treat issues, I think the feeling of getting caught is punishment enough. Not me, but I was sitting in the back of the class in English language arts and I was bored, so I just started looking around the classroom and I saw a kid in the very front of the class just with his hand in the back of his pants, and he was bent over and I'm pretty sure he was fingering himself. His face also didn't make the situation better. Also, yes, he was the weird kid in that grade. I'm at a loss for words. I was writing some notes from the board. Class was over and had kinda been working it under my hoodie for the last half hour. People leaving was, I thought, a good distraction to finish up, but the teacher caught me. For some reason, us making eye contact rocketed off the most insane, leg-buckling finish imaginable. She was horrified, disgusted, told me to get out and never come back to her class, all that stuff. That's how I managed to get expelled from homeschooling and stopped being invited to holidays. They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. Not exactly class, but I was about 13 and girls my age had all just started wearing thongs and you could see the straps sticking out of their pants when they sat in class. One day in 7th grade math, it was thongs gone wild with all the hot girls. I was in the back and after not too long I had to use the bathroom. First successful school FAP and I have zero regrets. The OL whale tale. The 90s were a magical time. One of my friends was the coolest in the class, became bored and horny. He used his biology book to look at a drawing of a naked woman and started. Two friends next to him did it Oswell because they did everything to be cool Oswell. So I just saw how three friends in class next to each other, gayest moment I've seen, and they all say that my story is made up now. Well, fortunately I'm more believable than them. I lost faith on those two guys doing everything the same just to be cool. Not me, but a friend whom I caught. When I asked him why, he said he liked the danger. Also, our history teacher was this hung young man. Couldn't blame the guy for doing so, just for doing so during class. Personally, I hate it. But you know, you do you. How do you know your teacher was hung? The bulge. It was almost like he wanted us to know just how hung he was. Hot substitute, flu season, almost half the class was gone, no one at my table group. Everyone was typing, on shitty school keyboards, and the computer fans sound like jets taking off. Didn't get caught by the teacher, but my friend said he knew cause he had done it to the same teacher in another class. He was a bro and got her to bend over across from me to help him. Her were down and her bra was too big. I saw her nipples cause she wasn't wearing a very conservative outfit and had a V-neck. I helped him the next day see the same thing, then the day after our 60-year-old guy teacher was back. Good times. You guys were like an orca hunter-killer team. Impressive coordination. I had a rumor started about me in class once. I was playing Pokemon Yellow under the table because I had finished my keyboarding lessons early. Sorry I wasn't as fat-fingered as you, Ashley, maybe then it would have taken me forever and I wouldn't have had time to beat LT. Surge. Does it count if I didn't but let my then BF get me off? We were 17. In a dark classroom, chemistry, under the lab table. I was on a stool. It started with him massaging my knee and working his way up my thigh. He never actually touched me there, but the heightened anticipation and titillating sensation of his warm hand on my bare skin was enough to do the trick. I was bonelessly lethargic afterwards and couldn't wait to do more. Still, it would be several months later till we went all the way. I don't think anyone noticed. Haven't in class, but I must tell this story. In my senior year of high school, one day our physical education class was walking to a local park when I noticed two classmates of mine in a parked car in the back seat. Whoa. I did not expect to see that. Kind of shake it off and continue walking with the class. Fast forward a week or two. In high school I was a bit of a rebel and all-around ass and would find myself sitting through in-house detention from time to time. You sit in one room during regular school hours and do all your work there that day. I found myself in in-house detention with these two lovebirds like, holy shit, this is awkward. They didn't see me see them, so they had no idea I'd seen them doing the nasty. They were both in there for receiving truancies. The school didn't realize that they were skipping class together to bone, so they put them in the same detention. Anyway, at some point in the day I glance over from my desk and see the girl is full hand down her unzipped jeans playing with herself, looking at the dude while he watches. WTF. I just pretended not to notice and privately had a little freak out. Not that it matters, but these two were not an attractive pair. Anyways, that's my story. One of my teammates from college knew a guy in high school who pulled this stunt in art class. His name was Johnny Slogger. Teacher witnessed the event and sent him to the principal's office. When questioned, he said he was sharpening his pencil as it was dull. News went around the school and they coined the term as slogging off. So that's where it came from.